वेलकम टू लेक्चर नंबर 31। हमने कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ा है कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी CSR. What is CSR? CSR means कि every company has the financial data which it shares with the outside world in form of annual financial reports. उसके अलावा हर कंपनी पे और there are other responsibilities as well which cannot be measured in form of dollars. For example, when we talk about CSR, तो आपकी responsibility होती है environment. How do you take care of the environment? You know, in today's world, climate and environment play a very significant role. So one aspect of CSR is the financial data. Then you have the environmental or data relating to climate. And the third one is your social data. How do the employees feel? Are they satisfied with the company? Do they have any grievances? Then we also talk about ethics when it comes to social corporate social responsibility. Now, all these factors that I have told you relate to the outside world. But the question arises, how do you implement the concept of CSR within the organization? उसके लिए what the management does is that it incorporates or implements the method of the concept of balance scorecard. You can say that it is a form of a management tool which can be used to measure not only the financial data but at the same time other forms of data which are not financial in nature. So that is the concept of balanced scorecard. Financial measures, financial measures are measurement of dollars, such as variance analysis. Variance analysis हमने previous chapters में किए थे. When you set the standard, you compare it with the actual to find out the performance. How has the company performed? And return on investment, जो आपका ROI है, are useful tools for evaluating performance. However, many companies now supplement these financial measures with non-financial measures to better assess performance and anticipate future results. इसकी एग्जांपल्स क्या हो सकती हैं? आपकी एयरलाइंस हैं जैसे डेल्टा, अमेरिकन एंड यूनाइटेड. They use capacity utilization as an important measure to understand and predict future performance. Now, what is capacity utilization? Capacity utilization with respect to airline industry is कि आपका एक रूट है जिसमें if you are flying, let's say, 3 aeroplanes every week, so you calculate the total capacity of the passengers that can come in, and then you compare it with the actual number of passengers that traveled. From that, you can find the capacity utilization. फिर आपके न्यूज़पेपर हो सकते हैं, for example, न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स and Chicago Tribune. They use circulation figures as another measure by which to assess performance. कि कितनी आपकी न्यूज़पेपर की circulation है. Then you have, dealers like a Pansec Automotive Group. What they do, they reward executives for meeting employee retention targets. We know employee retention is, when we talk about sales, getting a new customer is easy, but retaining that customer is what that matters. It is the biggest challenge, that you make sure that the customer should come back to your company. So that is called, a customer retention. In the same way, employee retention is कि आपके जो employees हैं वो once they join the company, then for how long do they stay in their job? So that is called employee retention. Illustration 23-28 lists some key non-financial measures used in various industries. For example, when we talk about automobiles, तो उसमें आपकी measure हो सकता है capacity utilization of plants. आपके plants किस capacity पे operate कर रहे हैं, average age of key assets. Now, जो आपकी average age of key assets है, हमने PPE का concept पढ़ा है, हमने उस concept से related depreciation की है. But so far we have not talked about the average age of key assets. Obviously, अगर आपके जो assets हैं they are new or they are not very old, तो उनके हिसाब से उनकी output is directly linked to the age of the asset. Then we have impact of strikes, brand loyalty statistics. अब ये तमाम चीजें जो हैं, these are, you can say, non-financial in nature, or you can also say these measures normally we do not include in our financial reports. When we talk about computer systems, तो आपके मार्केट प्रोफाइल ऑफ कस्टमर एंड प्रोडक्ट्स हो सकता है, नंबर ऑफ न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स, एम्प्लॉय स्टॉक ओनरशिप परसेंटेजेस, फिर आपका नंबर ऑफ साइंटिस्ट एंड टेक्नीशियंस यूज्ड इन R&D. So these are non-financial measures. Then we talk about chemicals. Same way we can talk about regional banks. How many number of ATMs by state you have. So all these factors directly or indirectly do tell us about the performance of the company. Most companies recognize that both financial and non-financial measures can provide useful insights into what is happening in the company. As a result, many companies now use a broad-based measurement approach called the balanced scorecard to evaluate performance. The balanced scorecard incorporates financial and non-financial measures in an integrated system that links performance measurement with a company's strategic goals. Whenever we talk about balanced scorecard, so we have so far discussed that it is a management tool which the management uses to gauge the performance of the company with respect to the uh, financial performance or जो other factors आपके होते हैं. We should always keep in mind कि ये जो when we talk about other factors and the strategic and the financial goals, so all these are aligned to the strategic goals of the company. What sort of a company strategy has the company adopted? तो जो कंपनी की स्ट्रेटजी होती है उसके हिसाब से it tries to configure the balance scorecard कि which factors does it want to be a part of that scorecard, और फिर उस scorecard के हिसाब से you can try to measure your performance. Nearly 50% of the largest companies in the US, including Unilever, Chase, Walmart, वगैरह जो हैं, they use balanced scorecard approach. So it shows that कि balanced scorecard जो है, it has become a very significant modern day managerial tool to not only meet your strategic goals, but at the same time to also keep your performance in line with your goals. The balanced scorecard evaluates company performance from a series of perspectives. The four most commonly employed perspectives are as follows. सबसे पहले आपका आ गया the financial perspective. You know, हर कंपनी का मकसद होता है profit maximization. So financial perspective will always be a part of how the management thinks and how the management behaves. The financial perspective is the most traditional view of the company. It employs financial measures of performance used by most firms. The second one is the customer perspective. The customer perspective evaluates the company from the point of view of those people who buy its product or services. This view compares the company to competitors in terms of price, quality, product, innovation, customer service, and other dimensions. So when we talk about the modern day management, हम देखेंगे कि बहुत सी companies होती हैं, they always put a lot of emphasis on customer feedback. Whenever you go to a company and you buy a product or a service, so they always try to give you a feedback form कि यार how did you find our service or how did you find our product. इसका एक बड़ा common example होता है when you go to the restaurant. So once you are done with your meal, they always give you a feedback card. So what they do, जो आप feedback अपनी देते हैं, they incorporate it into their balance scorecard. उससे they try to judge कि what sort of shortcomings they have, उनकी कौन सी strengths हैं, and then subsequently they can work on your feedback. Your third one is the internal process perspective. It evaluates the internal operating processes critical to success. All critical aspects of the value chain, including product development, production, delivery, and after sales service, are evaluated to ensure that the company is operating effectively and efficiently. तो आपने internal control का concept पढ़ा होगा in auditing. Internal control is कि within the company आपका जो department होता है which checks all the procedures, which keeps an eye on all the departments, which tries to formalize your SOP, standard operating procedure. So वो आपका internal control होता है. So internal process is very important. कि whatever feedback you are getting, so how do you make use of that feedback, and how do you make use of the external data to improve and uh, synchronize your internal procedures and your internal control ताकि आपकी जो overall performance है that should stay as per the desired level. The fourth one is the learning and growth perspective. It evaluates how well the company develops and retains its employees. This would include evaluation of such things as employee skills, employee satisfaction, training programs, and information dissemination. आपने देखा होगा कि now every company has an HR department. So HR department not only recruits new people, it also tries to give knowledge training to the existing employee. इस concept को आप कहते हैं capacity building. So the learning and growth perspective deals with how do you increase the capacity building of your employees. So you try to make them more productive, you try to make them more skillful, and you consequently you make sure that uh, you know their output and their yield is at the optimum level. Within each perspective, the Banner Scorecard identifies objectives that contribute to attainment of strategic goals. Figure 2329 shows examples of objectives within each perspective. So when we talk about financial, आपको पता है return on assets, net income, credit rating, share price, profit per employee. When we talk about customers, so आपके percentage of customers who would recommend product, customer retention, response time, internal process में stock outs, labor utilization rates, waste reduction, learning and growth में you have ethics, violations, training hours, reportable accident. तो ये तमाम when we talk about the perspective ये तमाम factors हैं which contribute. So the objectives are linked across perspective in order to tie performance measurement to company goals. The financial perspective objectives are normally set first. Now, what we're doing, we're trying to figure out कि किस sequence में you set your perspective. So the financial perspective objectives are normally set first, then objectives are set in the other perspective in order to accomplish the financial goals. इसकी एग्जांपल क्या हो सकती है विद इन द फाइनेंशियल पर्सपेक्टिव अ कॉमन गोल इज टू इंक्रीज profit per dollars invested as measured by ROI. So in order to increase, now you see this is the financial perspective. In order to increase ROI, a customer perspective objective might be to increase customer satisfaction as measured by the percentage of customers who would recommend the product to a friend. So this is the customer uh, perspective. Now, in order to increase customer satisfaction, and internal process perspective objective might be to increase product quality as measured by the percentage of defect-free units. What you did, आपने सबसे पहले you set your financial के through. The second one that you set is the customer perspective. Now, when you're trying, a customer should give a positive feedback. So, in order to achieve this, obviously, आपका एक internal working होगी कि how do you compel the customer to give the positive feedback. तो उसके लिए आपका क्या आएगा internal process. Finally, in order to increase the percentage of defect-free units, the learning and growth perspective objective might be to reduce factory employee turnover as measured by the percentage of employees leaving in under 1 year. Obviously, आपका जितने employees old होते हैं, उतने ज़्यादा वो आपके होते हैं experienced or skillful. So if you have old employees and experienced employees working on your machines, so obviously जो आपकी output निकलेगी, that will tend to be defect free. Illustration 2330 illustrates this linkage across perspective, your financial, then customer, internal process, and in the end, learning and growth. Through this link process, the company can better understand how to achieve its goals and what measures to use to evaluate performance. In summary, the balance scorecard does the following. सबसे पहले आपका आता है एम्प्लॉयज फाइनेंशियल एंड नॉन फाइनेंशियल मेजर्स फॉर एग्जांपल आरओआई अगर आपका हो गया नॉन financial क्या है employee turnover, then it creates linkages so that high level corporate goals can be communicated all the way down to the shop floor. Yeah, this is the linkages part. Then you have it provides measurable objectives for non-financial measures such as product quality rather than vague statements such as we would like to improve quality. So what it does, instead of having a haphazard approach, what a balanced scorecard does it gives you a straight path. Yeah, this is how you can achieve your strategic goal. For this, it integrates all of the company's goals into a single performance measurement system so that an inappropriate amount of weight will not be placed on any single goal. So when you are using balanced scorecard, subsequently you tend to use your resources and your focus on the overall objectives rather than on elements which do not hold a lot of significance overall. So now we'll do a small question related to balance scorecard. Indicate which of the four perspectives in the balance scorecard is most likely associated with the objectives that follow. Percentage of repeat customers. Now, when we talk about repeat customers, we know it relates to the customer perspective, which is called customer retention. कौन से customer आपके they come again and again to you for your products and services. Number of suggestions for improvement from employees. Now, this is the learning and growth perspective. What you're doing, you're trying to give knowledge to your workers, you're trying to give knowledge to your staff so that they know how the employees, how the customer, behaves and how the employees can brighten and enlighten their own way of thinking to meet the company goals. Contribution margin. We know this is the financial perspective. We have done this concept many times. Then we have brand recognition. Again, this relates to your customer perspective. Then we have number of cross-trained employees. It again relates to the employee section, which is the learning and growth perspective. Then we have amount of setup time. It is the internal process perspective. Okay, the less setup time you have, the more productive you will become. So balanced scorecard action plan is the financial perspective employs traditional financial measurements, and you have the customer perspective. It evaluates company performance as seen by the people who buy, which is your customer. Then we have the internal process perspective. It evaluates the internal operating processes critical to success. Then we have the learning and growth perspective. So this is the end of lecture number 31. We did the concept of balanced scorecard, and now we know what it means, what sort of perspectives it has, or escape, what is the end product.